When it comes to climbing the ladder in Valorant, players at every elo make simple mistakes that hold them back from their full potential. And today, we will be talking about exactly how you can get back on track. What is up, ProGuides family? I'm your host, Sergeant Frost, and today we will be discussing 5 mistakes that hold Platinums back from Diamond. Let's not waste any more time and let's get right into the video. For our first tip of the day, we will talk about an issue that many Platinum players struggle with in-game, and that problem is executing better rotations around the map. There is a saying amongst the veteran FPS community that rotations win games, and that statement could not be truer. Let's break down this section into 2 parts for clarity purposes. One section will be for defense, and one section will be for attack. Starting with defense, rotating properly consists of sending multiple players to opposite sides of the map in a pincer movement in order to gain effective map control and corral attackers in a certain area of the map. This means, for example, let's say the attackers have successfully planted the spike at A site on bind, and your team is on defense. The worst decision you could make as a team is to send all of your B players through CT spawn and try to funnel everyone through the metal hallway and A site heaven to retake the site. What you should do instead is split up your rotators and send them to specific areas of the map to gain control of it and trap the attackers where they stand. Let's say there are 3 people holding B site at this time. You would effectively want to send one person through CT spawn to gain backside A and heaven control. Next, you would send a second person through B site teleported to gain control of A lobby and showers. And finally, you would send the last person through market to gain control of A short and U-haul to absolutely pin the attackers where they are standing. Using this divide and conquer method is the most effective rotation strategy, and it will win you most of your games when defending in high level play. And that is because this divide and conquer strategy prevents the attackers from having free reign to traverse the map after they plant the bomb. And that is how you should manage your rotations on defense. And remember, early map control and post-plant rotations are 2 different things, but that's a topic for another video. Now on offense, it's a little more complex because rotations for attackers can only be achieved safely through map control and knowledge of where the defenders are at. So I will explain this in as simplest of terms as possible. Attackers usually will rotate off a site if they try to gain entry and are met with too much resistance, or if they unfortunately lose a player in the process. This usually constitutes a team going back to their spawn and regrouping as they attempt to rotate to the other side to try again. When attacking, use rotations to outflank the enemy, and find ways to take control of a site without the use of brute force and direct confrontation with the enemy. Attackers should use rotations as a proactive tool to get around the map to avoid having to walk through the front door of any site. This is where you will usually be met with the most resistance. In my opinion, rotations on offense can be very subjective to the map you are playing for how effective they can be if executed properly. For instance, rotating fast and with the purpose when playing on Haven and Ascent can be the difference between winning and losing a round. Split and Bind, on the other hand, have very hard to control mid areas of the map, which exacerbates the process of trying to gain map control through rotations. In my opinion, rotations is a topic that can be talked about for hours, and is a very complex subject depending on the comp you have and what kind of weapons you have for that round. If you want more help learning about how you can improve in Valorant, make sure you check out ProGuides.com. You can quickly upload your gameplay VODs on our website, and we have coaches online 24/7 who will quickly get back to you and help you on your journey towards improving in Valorant. ProGuides.com will teach you the necessary skills to rank up faster, enjoy the game more, and receive premium help from our online coaches. You can book a session whenever you need it according to your schedule. No more time being stuck in your elo. Head over to ProGuides.com to begin the journey to the rank of your dreams. For our second tip today, we will be talking about a common occurrence that happens way too often in Platinum games, and that is failing to gain full control of a site before planting the spike. There have been way too many times I've seen a push ruined before the plan even goes down because people fail to sweep the site and gain control of it before planting the spike. When taking a site, it is typical for 2 or more people to completely go through a site, thoroughly checking every corner and sweeping every area that a potential player could hide in or rotate through as they allow for their team to plant the bomb. Usually, you will have one player watching behind his team setting up to take care of the long flank. Then, you will have one player plant the spike while the other 3 sweep the site for enemies and set up in aggressive post-plant positions. When taking A site, make sure to get into post-plant spots early if you are not carrying the spike. The earlier you can entrench yourself in a position, the harder it will be for rotating defenders to flush you out of it. Remember, rotating defenders have little to no info on where the attackers are at inside of a site after their team lost control of said site. Take advantage of the ignorance of the defending team and choose a good post-plant spot that will not expose yourself too early and will allow you to obtain frags or at least stall for as long as you can to allow the spike to go off. Getting control of heaven and elevated positions on all maps is a surefire way of taking control of a site as it introduces a new dynamic of height advantage. This will prevent defenders from fragging people in predictable and easy to reach spots. Gaining site control before planting is imperative, and what happens after the plant goes down is even more important. Before we move on, you guys know we couldn't go on without our question of the day. I would never do that to you guys. Today's question is, what has been your hardest rank to climb out of in ranked? Personally, I've always had trouble with the Platinum elo at the start of every single act. Let us know in the comment section down below what your answer is. Now, let's jump right back into the video. When I was making this guide, I asked myself what is one key difference between high elo players and PLATS that separates them on a macro level, and what I came up with was the lack of intelligent flanks that many plat players will go on. This leads up to our third tip of the video, which is learning to flank more intelligently. These concepts apply both when attacking and defending. From the attacking perspective, flanks can be set up first by splitting up your team and playing defaults to start. But one concept you should grasp while attacking is flanking a bomb site from multiple angles. In higher elos and in coordinated pro play, you won't see all 5 or even 4 attackers trying to take the same site at the same time. They will usually be spread out, with the other 2 players being considered the lurkers. Lurkers will wait until the other 3 to 4 players have gotten a foothold or mild control of a site. Then, they will establish control of the opposite site after the defenders have rotated and will call for their team to back off and come to the site that they now have control of. Or, they can continue their flank slowly and walk up behind the defenders through their own spawn and collect free frags that way. Flanking is a must in high elo, as it is beyond difficult to gain control of a site by attacking it from the standard entryways. Most Valorant maps can be hallway simulators that don't have dynamic ways to take control of the site outside of the standard entry points. Because of this, it is imperative when attacking to learn to flank properly, as sometimes against good teams it will be the only way you can take a site. From a defensive perspective, flanking can help retake a site and can give you early control of the map if you leave on a flank early. In this scenario, you should be wrapping around from behind to get control of the front of a site to flush out the attackers waiting to frag the flankers. Some attacking teams are smart and will use cipher traps and killjoy abilities to ward off defending flankers when you try to set up control over a site. If you know typical spots where you will usually find these devices, it won't be difficult to deal with them and continue on with your flank. In fewer words, flanking is a core component strategy of Valorant, and currently with less than optimal maps that are in the game, it will be the only way to take sites against really good and coordinated teams. For our fourth tip, we will be talking about something that not a lot of Platinum players think about while playing in game, and that is learning to manage your ult economy better. A good ultimate economy will allow you to win fights and skirmishes with ease and gain map control with little opposition from the enemy team. Too many people in Diamond and above don't pay attention to what the enemy team's ult economy looks like, or even what their own team's ult economy looks like every round. Knowing the state of your ult economy allows you to make informed decisions about where you can go for map control and what bomb site to attack. There are many different types of ultimates in Valorant that serve different types of purposes. First off, you have damage ultimates that are meant to get kills. Examples of these are Raze ultimate, Sova ultimate, Brimstone ultimate, and Jet ultimate. Secondly, you have self-empowering ultimates that affect your character and give you special abilities, attributes, and skills. Examples of these are Phoenix ultimate, Reyna ultimate, Sage ultimate, and Yoru ultimate. And finally, you have map control ultimates that allow you to gain map control or gain intelligence and even assist you in taking bomb sites. Examples of these are Breach ultimate, Cypher ultimate, Omen ultimate, Viper ultimate, Sky ultimate, and Killjoy ultimate. Knowing what kind of ultimates you primarily have on your team will help you make decisions and craft a game plan when attacking. Developing a game plan will allow you to push defenders off of a site, which will give you an opportunity to plant freely. This same concept goes for defense. Certain ultimates will allow you to regain map control when retaking a site. Knowing the win conditions for your team comp includes knowing your ultimates, how they work and synergize together, and the best ways to deploy them to win rounds and take games with ease. For our fifth and final tip of the day, I wanted to end it on one thing Plat players can do that will surely shoot them up the rank ladder. And that tip that I have is strictly playing for picks and openings on the map. Once you get into Diamond Elo and higher, deathballing onto a site as a 5-man unit isn't going to work anymore in terms of taking sites effectively. Spreading out across the map and playing default positions while watching common angles will become the norm. Most teammates will communicate this to you once you get to Platinum and above range in this game. Most defenders will usually be smart and not push on defense, and they will play passive in hopes of getting a multi-kill from attackers that are trying to run onto site. Holding passive angles on offense and playing the patience game will become normal as you reach higher elos, as this will be an effective strategy in outplaying opponents. Another form of playing for picks and openings is intelligently using utilities such as smokes, grenades, and mollies to have your team take control of multiple bomb site entrances. Using this utility will allow you to flush out any players on site that could potentially result in a kill. This is a safe and effective strategy for you to gain site control without suffering too many casualties. Most defenders will look to rotate when their teammates call out that they are receiving pressure on a site. On offense, look to rotate quickly after using a lot of utility to try to open up a site. In the event that defenders prematurely rotated, you will usually have a free and clean bomb site to plant on the opposite side of the map. Well everyone, that's all we have for 5 tips that hold Plats back from Diamond. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We upload new videos just like this one every single day. Remember to stay safe out there, and I'll see you all again very soon.